And breaking news into the FOX29 Weather Authority Weather Center. A tornado warning was just issued for Chester County. Chester County, a tornado warning until 6:45. Now, take a look at this. A severe thunderstorm warning. It's for southeastern Berks and Chester County until 6:30. Now, this has a history of damaging winds associated with it. So if we look at this tornado warning, you can see the tornado located in Chester County with part of this bow echo moving toward the northeast. And we can do a track on this. Now, one of the things we look for, obviously, a Doppler radar indicated tornado warning would be some twisting in the atmosphere. And we're watching this bow echo, this line of damaging winds, kind of curving up toward the north and toward the west. And that is the rotation that we're looking for. So right now, we're looking at the storm moving toward the east at a fairly decent speed. And at this speed and direction, we're going to be seeing it in several different areas in Chester County very quickly. The storm will be near West Bradford at 6:20, near West Goshen at 6:27, and Willistown at 6:32, and Radnor at 6:43, and Marion in Montgomery County, that would be at about 6:48. So I'm going to step out and show you this tornado warning in effect for Chester County. And that is until 6:45. We also have a severe thunderstorm warning that was issued for southeastern Berks and also Chester County. That is until 6:30 this afternoon as well. So once again, that tornado warning in Chester County, a Doppler radar indicated tornado. I just got the latest statistics on this from the National Weather Center. The tornado warning for central Chester County until 6:45. It was located near Coatesville, if you're familiar with that area, or 12 miles west of Westchester, and it was moving northeast at 50 miles an hour. So you have a rotating thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado that is moving very quickly toward the northeast. So at 50 miles an hour, with strong damaging winds associated with it, this is the path of the storm. West Bradford at 6:16, West Whiteland by 6:24, East Whiteland by 6:28, Charlestown by 6:30, and Phoenixville by 6:34. If you live in any of these areas of Chester County, go into an interior room of your home, preferably a hallway, a bathroom, away from the windows, or to the basement, and wait until this dangerous storm passes. Now, one of the things we look at is the shear when we're looking at a tornado. It is the change of wind in direction and speed of wind as you go higher up in the atmosphere. And we look at our shear trackers, we're looking at the past hour. So the National Weather Service, in issuing this tornado warning, would look at the shear analysis over the past hour and see indications of this spin in the atmosphere. So this is one of the indicators that we look for. We also look for hail in this as well. Now, these storms have a history. Go to the interior room of your home, away from the windows, and wait until the storm passes. Now, this is going to be for the next several minutes. We have about a half hour left on this tornado warning. Now, when we look at the storm, we're talking about central Chester County and this storm moving toward the northeast. So it has a lot of momentum. We're thinking at least 90-mile-an-hour winds in this storm, possibly greater, moving toward the northeast at 50 miles an hour. So that is a lot of momentum with this. And if you look at the radar, you can see the spin as this bow echo moves toward the north and east, and you can see the rotation beginning with this cell, and that's why the National Weather Service put out the warning for a potential tornado with this cell. So typically you see the genesis of a severe thunderstorm, then you see damaging winds associated with the line of storms, you see hail, and then the possibility of rotating funnel or possible tornado. Now, earlier Scott talked about this. We talked about this bow echo. This line had storms gusting to 70 miles an hour even before this tornado warning was issued. So you had a line of storms just kind of plowing eastward, and then you add a little bit of spin with this northeastern rotation on it, and that's why we have this tornado warning. So we're going to talk about the tornado warning path as far as this potential and where this storm will be moving. Westchester, Phoenixville, Coatesville, Downingtown, Paoli, Chester Springs, even through Lionville, and also through West Goshen. Melbourne, if you live in Melbourne, please go to an interior room of your home and wait for the storm to pass. South Coatesville, Exton, Thorndale, Chesterbrook, which is not far from the King of Prussia Mall, and Devon and the Berwyn area. And of course, if you're familiar with that area, Paoli's right there, Paoli Hospital, Route 30. So please go to interior room of your home. If you have any friends or family that's heading home, they usually take 202, they take 30, give them a call and say, hey, there's a potential tornado, pull off to a safe space, maybe into a Wawa, get somewhere safe, and wait until this dangerous storm passes. So it's moving east at about 50 miles an hour. Right now, the heaviest part of the rain associated with it going through Coatesville and West Brandywine, through West Bradford, heading toward West Vincent. So all of this moving toward the east at 50 miles an hour. So we have a very strong storm, a line of severe thunderstorms that started a couple of hours ago through parts of York County, heading through Lancaster County, and now into Chester County. And you can see the genesis of these storms started forming a line and kind of bowing out. And you can see this kind of twist in the radar indicating some spin with those thunderstorms, and that is why the National Weather Service put out that tornado warning. These storms have a history of damaging winds gusting to 60, 70 miles an hour, and also some hail. Also, we had one report of a funnel cloud, but that was in northeastern Pennsylvania earlier today. But this is the first tornado warning in our area. So once again, if you live anywhere near Phoenixville, Melbourne, Coatesville, Exton, Paoli, Devon, Berwyn, in Chester County, this tornado warning is in effect until 6:45. We also have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for parts of Berks County and Chester County outside of this, and that is until 6:30. So all of these severe storms are moving toward the north and the east at a very high rate of speed and with heavy winds. So you not only have a fast-moving line of storms, you also have obviously strong damaging winds associated with it. So this is the timeline that we're looking at for the potential tornado to be in a neighborhood near you. By 6:24 in West Bradford, by 6:32 in West Goshen, Tredeferin at 6:43, Haverford by 6:50, and Whippane by 6:56. So once again, a very damaging storm with potential to bring down trees, power lines, you name it. We've been through this before this summer with the potential for damaging winds. So I'm going to step out so you can see the wider view of the radar. So once again, this tornado warning, it's Doppler radar indicated. National Weather Service saw some spin in the radar and said, okay, this is a potential rotating thunderstorm that could produce a tornado. So this report that we just received, it says reports of multiple roofs off of houses. And Scott, let's take a zoom into that area and see where they're talking about. Right in the area of Route 30. I'm trying to take a look of exactly where that area is. South of 30 and moving toward the northeast. Now this is west of Honeybrook, moving east if we could move the radar. We also have our Chris O'Connell, who is in Chester County. Chris, what are you seeing there? We do have a tornado warning in effect until 6:45, and we're looking at the radar. It looks like the winds are extremely strong in central parts of the county.
Hi, Kathy. Yeah, we are just on the Pennsylvania-Delaware state line right now in the Talleyville, Brandywine area. I want to show you what I'm looking at now. We're going south on 202. Look at the clouds I'm looking at, Kath. I don't know, you could probably decipher that. Some low-hanging clouds right there along 202. Once again, towards Talleyville. We're just east of the Brandywine State Park, and you could see by our camera we're in our roving unit 27 equipped. Kathy, you know this vehicle well, equipped with some really good cameras and some really heavy equipment to cover the storm. But right now you're looking at probably that cell you're talking about with this tornado warning hanging right over 202, right near 95, just north of Wilmington right now. You're seeing that cloud just ahead of us. So we're not seeing the wind. The wind is actually starting to pick up out here. Not seeing any rain yet, but heavy rain we could just see by this radar you were showing us earlier, Kathy. We're about to get hit by up. Now the rain is starting. You could see it on your screen right now that just on cue is this band of storm, this cell that is coming right over Wilmington at this point. You could probably see it. We actually just lost power ahead, Kathy. Some of our Wawa right here just lost power, and we're seeing some. Hold on, forgive me. I'm trying to get this camera to work. Yeah, so we're getting some heavy wind right now, Kathy. As we take a look on 202, we're about at 202 and 95. You're seeing it live just like we are. Some heavy rain, heavy wind bands coming in. If you don't need to be out, obviously we're stating the obvious, don't come out. As far as this band of this cell goes right now, once again, more people out of power we just saw over here. So we'll let you get back, Kathy, let you get back to what you're doing. But right now, the heavy winds blowing our big truck right here as we're driving south along 202 near the state line, Delaware, Pennsylvania state line. Yeah, we're going to pull over just for a little bit. It's just, you can see, actually, let's bring you back out. Or we'll stop. You see some of these heavy rain bands, nothing better than showing you live pictures when we can stay in the comfort of our big vehicle here. But you see those very heavy. Now we're seeing a severe thunderstorm warning along with this tornado warning here in Newcastle County. We just saw, Kathy. So just like you were talking about, just like you were forecasting, coming up the 95 corridor, these heavy cells coming right now, pounding Wilmington, heading into Delaware County as we speak. So be safe out there. We'll keep going and we'll keep showing what we see from here on the roads, but stay safe out there.
Thanks, Chris, very much. We're looking right now at 95, where you're saying that you're driving south toward Newcastle County, and you're under obviously a severe thunderstorm warning until 6:30. That's for Delaware, Kent County, Newcastle County, and Salem County in South Jersey. This is a line of severe thunderstorms that's moving through, so we're expecting the possibility of hail in all of these areas under the severe thunderstorm warning. Also, torrential rain. I mean, the rain rates are 1 to 2 inches an hour, so localized flooding is expected, especially on those areas, the usual suspects in poor drainage areas. And of course, we're concerned about the wind. Damaging winds with these severe cells, and with this tornado warning, we're expecting even stronger winds. So back to Ultimate Doppler. Chris was a little bit farther south, 95, heading toward Wilmington. This is right where that severe thunderstorm warning is. He's driving right into that, so stay safe, Chris. And farther to the north in Chester County, in parts of Delaware County, now we have Montgomery County, Bucks County, Philadelphia County, Mercer County, and part of even Burlington County, everyone under a severe thunderstorm warning until 7:30. That just goes to show how strong this line of thunderstorms is, that the National Weather Service is already putting the entire area pretty much under a severe thunderstorm warning well in advance, because this is expected to hold together as kind of just like a plow of severe storms and damaging winds across the entire area. Gloucester County included now, as well as Camden County. You are all under a severe thunderstorm warning until 7:30 this evening. This is our problem right now, a tornado warning in effect until 6:45 for Chester County. It is moving right along 30, right along 202, right along 76. If you know anyone who uses those roads on the way home, give them a call and ask them to wait. Give it a half hour or so and wait until this potential tornado passes. Right now, the most damaging part of the storm is located between West Bradford, right along Route 30, heading toward West Brandywine and moving toward the east, toward East Whiteland. Now, this storm is moving east at 50 miles an hour. At that speed, it is going to be moving toward 422, even 29 toward Tredeferin within the next 10 minutes or so. You can see the rain rates right here. This is nearly 5 inches an hour. So we're hoping for the storms to continue to move quickly to limit the amount of flash flooding that's going to be occurring. But we know there is, some very infrequent areas of good drainage on some of these major highways. So any heavy rain that's coming down in a very quick period of time is going to create ponding on the area roads and potential flash flooding. So you don't want to be caught in that. So please, I would take an early exit, take a break, wait until these storms pass, and then move on your way this evening, because it's just not worth it. As we look at the amount of lightning associated with these storms, I mean, we're talking about thousands of lightning strikes in the area as these storms move across the entire region, pretty much that's covered with a severe thunderstorm warning right now. The tornado warning will continue until 6:45. You can see Chris's camera in the upper left of your screen. I mean, the rain pouring. We're expecting rain rates of 1 to 2 inches an hour. And that is what is coming through right now through the tornado warned area, also the severe thunderstorm warned area. And you can see right here through Chester County, heading into the southern part of Delco, the storms are in Wilmington right now, and all this is moving toward the east. The reason this tornado warning was put into effect is the National Weather Service saw that spin in the atmosphere, that shear that we've been talking about, and decided to put out the warning on this particular cell. The line of thunderstorms, or the bow that we were seeing in the radar, began to pivot and create some spin, and that was an indication of a rotating thunderstorm that could produce a tornado. So we'll continue to watch this. I'm going to ask Chris to give us a little bit of a description. Chris, we see the rains coming down pretty hard. Where are you right now?
Hi, Kathy. Yeah, let me give you a clean shot. Let me give you exactly where we're at. We're just at the intersection of 95 and 202 right now. I can't see a radar, but I don't think I need to see a radar to show you what's going on. We are in the middle of, or at the end of a rush hour here, and just lots of people trying to get home, trying to get to where they're going. And you see a lot of blinking lights here, a lot of standing water on roadways. We've have not seen any like wind damage or anything, but we've been kind of staying on this road. We just saw a flash of lightning. I don't know if you saw that. You saw we are right here in the, coming up to the I-95 intersection. We're probably in the brunt of it now, just seeing lots of heavy bands of rain, some really, really gusty winds blowing our big truck around. And Kathy, you know how big this truck is. We feel it inside of here. We're coming up to the 95 and 202 intersection. Once again, you're seeing lots of rain, lots of people trying to get to where they're going. Their windshield wipers flapping up back and forth. You see that rain just blowing across the roadway right now. So just keep in mind, this is probably going to be hanging around for another hour or so looking at this radar. So just be careful. You know what happens when the standing water. We see it time and time again, Kathy, and we tell people over and over again, do not go through standing water, especially if you don't know how deep it is. Every time we have a storm like this, we see the flash flooding. People believe they can make it through with their cars, and inevitably we see many cars just stranded on in heavy water. So just be careful, take extra time. Time to just, you see people over here on the side of the roads just with their hazards on. That's probably a good idea until the heavy stuff goes away. But, it's one of these summertime storms, Kathy, that we're, there's our tires right there. You see what we're all dealing with. So this is one of these summertime storms where it seems to be more and more of these as the summertime goes on. So we'll keep going. As this thunderstorm, this heavy storm keeps going here in this Pennsylvania-Delaware state line. Kath?
And Chris, we just found out the tornado warning was allowed to expire early. That's the good news. And now we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Camden, Delaware, Montgomery, and Philadelphia counties until 7:30 as the remnants of this potential tornado moves toward the north and toward the east. So toward Tredeferin, on to Montgomery County, Delaware County, and to Philadelphia County, a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. Potential damaging winds associated with this, but the tornado threat has ended for central Chester County. But you still have to be on the lookout for damaging winds and the possibility of torrential rain with these storms and flash flooding.
It is important not to let your guard down right now. Yes, the tornado warning has expired for Chester County, but as Kathy has mentioned here, the severe thunderstorm warning is impacting our entire area, and it's bringing with it a lot of heavy rain, strong wind gusts, lightning, you name it.
And if there is another tornado warning, we will break in and keep you up to date on that. In the meantime, stay with Fox 29 and fox29.com for the very latest, and we'll be watching. Nobody's spared by this severe weather tonight. Severe thunderstorm warning still in effect. We'll see you tonight at 10 o'clock as we wrap all this up. Stay safe, everybody.
And welcome back. We have another tornado warning to talk about. A tornado warning has been issued for Chester, Delaware, Montgomery, and Philadelphia counties until 7 o'clock. This is a Doppler radar indicated tornado. This Doppler radar indicated tornado was located over Newtown Square, so most likely the remnants of the other tornado warning in Chester County, 10 miles east of Westchester, moving northeast at 20 miles an hour, now up to 50 miles an hour. So this is increasing speed. It's moving toward the northeast, now at 50 miles an hour. And the most likely problems with this, obviously damaging winds, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter, mobile homes will be damaged, and obviously damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur with this. So if we look to the northeast at 50 miles an hour, this storm will be near Garrett Hill at 640, Conshohocken by about 645, White Marsh at 651, Upper Dublin at 653, and Horsham at 658. Once again, a tornado warning in effect for Chester, Delaware, Montgomery, and Philadelphia counties until 7 o'clock. The storm moving toward the northeast at 50 miles an hour. The previous cell was a little bit farther to the west. A lot of lightning associated with this, and obviously spin in the atmosphere. I'm going to talk to my colleague Scott Williams. And Scott, can you tell us a little bit about the spin, the helicity, or the shear with this storm? Because we saw a lot of it in central Chester County earlier, and I'm thinking this storm has a similar spin to it as well.
Yeah, absolutely, Kathy. All of the ingredients were definitely in the atmosphere to produce severe damaging wind gusts, as well as the tornadic threat that we're seeing right now. And when you talk about that spin in the atmosphere, we've been looking at really ultimate Doppler.
Scott, we're having a hard time hearing you. We're going to try to fix that audio and get right back to you with this spin. We watched this squall line of thunderstorms in what we called a bow echo, which is a Doppler radar indicator that there's wind damage, and we've watched it for a couple of hours. The National Weather Service saying that within this there were a few rotating thunderstorms, a tornado warning just about a half hour or so ago for central Chester County, and now another Doppler radar indicated tornado moving right through the northern part of Delaware County, through parts of this, I would say the eastern lower part of Montgomery County and the northern part of Philadelphia County. So all of this moving toward the northeast. Now, if you live in these areas, the storm will be near you or passing your area through Philadelphia, through Norristown, through Lansdale, West Norriton, East Norriton, Conshohocken, Hatboro, Ambler, Jenkintown, Abington. Remember, if you live in these areas, go to an interior room of your home, the basement, somewhere away from the windows, and wait until this dangerous storm passes. We always say you never want to be anywhere near a tree could go through a window. You want to make sure you're definitely away from the windows in this scenario. Other areas in the storm's path: Jenkintown, I mentioned Abington, Willow Grove, Bryn Mawr, Radnor Township, Plymouth Meeting, Newtown Square, Chestnut Hill, and also King of Prussia, as well as Broomall. We are looking at the rotation history here, as Scott was talking about. This is the shear analysis, and you see this bright blue and this royal blue. We saw this earlier. Scott and I were looking at the radar saying, wow, this is a strong signature. When you have shear like this, you're talking about air changing different speeds and different directions as you go higher in the atmosphere, and that creates this spin, hence shear. And we had Doppler radar indicators talking about potential rotation in this area, and within the next minute the National Weather Service put out this warning. So we've been tracking this shear, and we're tracking the storm as it moves toward the northeast at 50 miles an hour. I mean, this is a fast moving cell. It's going to create a good deal of damage in a short amount of time with torrential downpours. I also want to bring in our Chris O'Connell, who's been driving through Newcastle County, Delaware, in the severe weather. Chris, what's going on there now? We do have a new tornado warning.
Yeah, Kathy. I don't know where that. I think that new warning is for Delaware, Bucks, Montgomery, and Philadelphia counties. I just are driving into Pennsylvania right now. We're about on 95 going northbound, approaching the Commodore Bridge area. You said this, if I got you correct, Kathy, this storm was moving 50 or so miles an hour. Well, we're driving right now 51 miles an hour on the edge of this storm. So you're seeing the front edge of this storm right now as we go north on 95. It is a huge arch of a storm that's you're seeing the top of the tip of right now as we head towards the Commodore Barry Bridge, the Chester area, the Philadelphia International Airport, which incidentally is still under a ground stop at this area this time for all departures leaving Philadelphia. It is a complete ground stop. You see more hazard lights ahead of me here on 95. People taking it slow. We're driving right now 30, 35 miles an hour. So just keep very, very slow. You're seeing the very front edge of this storm right now. We're going to head north and head to up the Blue Route a little bit. You said that's where some of this storm was going, Kathy. So we'll get it back to you as we head on the leading edge of this storm, heading north on 95 towards the Blue Route at this time. So it looks like we have, a big cell in front of us and a lot of rain behind us.
Watching where you are on Ultimate Doppler, and we can see right along that I-95 corridor. That's where our heaviest rain is. If we could bring back the radar, we'll show you right here. Now this is where Chris is a little bit further to the south, but this heavier bow, if we could widen out, is going right through Delaware County as we speak and heading right into South Philadelphia where the airport is. And you can see this large area of red that extends through northern Chester County, through the eastern part of Delaware County, right down through Gloucester County into Salem County. This comma shape is our bow echo of damaging winds that's pushing eastward. So 95 right here through Wilmington, going up through Delco and also Philadelphia. That is where the heaviest rain is. And you can kind of see this rotation of this whole area of rain kind of spinning. We do have that tornado warning in effect, in the heaviest part of the rain and the strongest part of the storm right now is over Radnor, and it's moving toward the northeast at 50 miles an hour. And Scott, if we could do a storm track on that, we know this storm has a lot of shear, which means it has some spin, and we know associated with it is large hail as well. Our Doppler radar indicated markers right here show that there was early rotation right along Kennett Square. That's where this was actually, or Newtown Square rather. That's where the spin was first located, 10 miles east of Westchester, and the storm continues at about 50 miles an hour toward the northeast. So up next, we're talking about Plymouth, then Upper Dublin at about 6:55, then Horsham at 7 o'clock, and then at 7:03, Warminster, and hopefully it will just be a severe thunderstorm at that point, and then by 7:08, Doylestown. So the storm is approaching King of Prussia as we speak, and we have our live weathermetrics cam in King of Prussia. If we could take a look at what's going on there right now, because the storm is pretty much on the doorstep of that area, and yeah, there it is. It's in King of Prussia. Visibility obviously really poor. It looks like it's nighttime, even though it's just pretty much dusk. We can see the traffic is moving along, but it's very difficult to see with the tornado warning bearing down on Montgomery County. But there is the view with the rain hitting our shield there on our camera. Some gusty winds, rain that's falling at a rate of 1 to 2 inches an hour, and you can see the traffic, barely moving in King of Prussia right now, and the windswept rain in front of our camera. But it's going to be a slow go for the next hour. So if you know anyone that's in King of Prussia, has to get to Philly, or that's in Philly, has to get to King of Prussia, please give them a call and let them know the area is under a tornado warning, and please wait until this dangerous storm passes. So as we go back to radar, you can see the area that we're talking about right now, the storm heading through the King of Prussia area, right through 276, 476, the northeast extension, and the storm is impacting 76, obviously 476, right along the main line as well, on 30, in Upper Dublin, White Marsh. The storm isn't to you just yet, but it's coming, and you are part of this warning as well. And you can see even into Upper Moreland, we're seeing the storm heading right towards you, and I'd say give it about 10 minutes or so. That's going to be just about it with this. We still have about 10 minutes left with this tornado warning, and you can see along 276 Cedar Heights and Norristown. Please go to an interior room of your home and wait until this storm passes, because the most dangerous part of the storm is right about in your neighborhood, right along 476 through White Marsh. If you know anybody that travels 309, please make them aware of the storm as well, and heading towards 63. Here is the timing of the storm. Now, right now over Conshohocken, by 6:56 White Marsh, by 6:58 Upper Dublin, 7:01 Maple Glen, and 7:03 Horsham. There is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for most of our area outside of this tornado warning. So even if you don't live in Delaware, Montgomery, or Philadelphia counties, if you live in South Jersey, this storm is moving toward you as well. It's in Gloucester County, it's moving toward Camden County, and eventually it will be in Burlington County. All these areas of New Jersey under a severe thunderstorm warning with potential for large hail and damaging winds as well. We had a funnel cloud reported in Coatesville with our last tornado warning about an hour ago. That was reported by emergency services, and obviously this tornado warning that's going on in Delaware, Montgomery, and Philadelphia counties as well. Throughout the afternoon on Fox 29 News at 5 and 6, we are talking about this bow echo on our Doppler radar, a bulging signature on the radar indicating gusty winds. It was moving through Lancaster County and York County to our west. That is what is plowing into South Jersey and our northern western suburbs of Philadelphia with gusts to 70 miles an hour, creating damage, trees down, power lines down from this that's going on a little bit farther to the south. The tornado warning is part of the same system of severe weather that is plowing through the Delaware Valley and will continue to do so over the next couple of hours. I mentioned that report of the funnel cloud near Coatesville. That was earlier with our tornado warning from last hour, and we're keeping an eye to see if we see anything more in the way of damage. We did hear word in Hocassin, Delaware, of a structure collapsing, which we're investigating at this point as well. Now all eyes, though, on Delco, Montgomery, and Philadelphia counties with this tornado warning. The threat has moved out of Chester County, so that has been dropped from the tornado warning. So for the next 9 minutes or so, we're going to keep a careful eye on this area near Norristown, along 476, through Radnor as well, 276, obviously 76 as well, the Schuylkill, through 309 and 63 in Abington. So this entire area, this potential rotating thunderstorm moving toward the northeast at 50 miles an hour. We are hearing that the tornado warning is going to be allowed to expire at 7 o'clock, showing some weakening as it moves toward the northeast. I just want to bring in Chris one more time. Quickly, Chris, we're watching this severe cell moving toward the northeast at 50 miles an hour. We know it has a lot of rain. Obviously, it has torrential downpours. What are you seeing, and where are you located right now?
Right now, Kathy, I'm just getting on to the Blue Route heading north towards Plymouth Meeting from I-95 in the Chester, Upland, Woodland area, and I'm seeing exactly what you were talking about. A lot of rain, heavy gusty winds, sporadic power outages. A lot of people, let me take you to the road right now. That is the Blue Route heading north, looking at and talking through our contacts in Delaware County. We're hearing lots of trees down, lots of power lines down, especially power lines are down. Police are being called in Upper Darby and in other municipalities for traffic control for trees down. You see a little bit of traffic here on the Blue Route. Typically, if you have low-lying areas, if you live in those typical low-lying areas near creeks, near streams, or near poor drainage areas, expect that to be flooded. These are the kinds of storms. They come heavy and they come fast. So if you're in those kinds of areas, expect that kind of thing. You're seeing right now, the rain has subsided quite a bit here on the Blue Route 95, but as you said, that tornado warning may be expected to expire in the next 7 minutes or so as things are at least right here calm down, but as you see, lots of traffic lies ahead on a wet Blue Route here in Delaware County.
Yes, Chris, and PECO is reporting 75,000 customers without power, and I'm sure that number will be increasing as well. In Delaware County, the storm is slowly moving out, and we're seeing the threat that's going to be diminishing, and you can see the threat into the northeastern corner of Delco and then mainly Montgomery County right now. So that's why you're seeing that rain lightening up as you move toward the northeast. So now you really have to get into Montgomery County, into South Philadelphia, and into central Philadelphia. Actually, we are in Old City, Philadelphia, and right now I can hear the rumble of thunder outside of our headquarters here at Fox 29. So all of this moving toward the northeast at a good clip, 50 miles an hour, as Chris said, he's driving 50 miles an hour, and that's a pretty fast speed. So all of this moving very quickly through Norristown, right along 476, the Northeast Extension, where everything comes together here near Abington and Montgomery. You are next. So it's a fast-moving storm, torrential downpours associated with this, potential for flash flooding, a history of large hail, damaging winds, obviously, with this rotation. And you can see the radar-indicated rotation here on our ultimate Doppler as the storm continues to push toward the northeast. We're getting word that the storm is going to be allowed to expire as a tornado at 7 o'clock, but we are going to watch it until then. Heavy rain and a lot of lightning associated with this as well. The storm is a history of damage to buildings, of a funnel cloud already in Coatesville, in parts of western Chester County, and you can see previously all the wind damage associated with this, the hail damage as well. A history of hail as large as ping pong balls in parts of Lancaster and also in York County to the west. So it doesn't show any signs of diminishing. You still see that severe thunderstorm warning in effect for South Jersey. So this is going to go on at least until the storms make it into South Jersey, and then as they get toward the Jersey shore, they will be weakening even more. But a very potent potential tornado right now through northeastern Delaware County and into parts of Philadelphia County and into Montgomery County right now. So it looks like the National Weather Service has allowed Philadelphia to expire, and right now we still have that tornado warning for Montgomery County until 7 o'clock. But once again, watching this bow of precipitation. When the radar bulges, it's almost like something's pushing the precipitation. It's being pushed by the wind. So these are winds estimated at about 70 miles an hour just with this line. So it doesn't have to be a tornado to create significant damage. It can be a fast-moving line of thunderstorms with even downdrafts that create damage to the region. So we're going to keep a very careful eye on this as well. That's why South Jersey is under a severe thunderstorm warning into the evening. And once again, still watching that tornado warning for Montgomery County and the northeastern corner of Delaware County, but it looks like the threat has left Elko. Heavy rain in Philadelphia, and watching northeastern Philadelphia, that little corner, and also into parts of Montgomery County where that tornado threat remains. We're talking about Norristown, Montgomery, into Abington. If we could zoom in a little bit in this area, Scott, through northeastern parts of Philadelphia into the lower part of Montgomery County, these are the towns. Winmore into White Marsh, heading toward Abington. This is what we're talking about right here along 309, 152 through 73, even toward Drescher, Glenside. All of these smaller areas right along 276, that is where the rain is heading. And we're talking about rain rates of 1 to 2 inches an hour, creating problem on area roads and potential for flash flooding. So if anybody travels these roads on their way home from work, please give them a call. Let them know. We have a few more minutes with a tornado warning. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the next hour or so to try to stay inside and wait until these storms pass. 1 to 3 inches an hour is the estimate of rain rates with these storms, and it's moving quickly, thank goodness. That should limit the flash flooding somewhat because the storms are moving so quickly, but it is a lot of rain falling in a very short period of time. Scott, if you could put on that lightning and show us what's going on with that as well. We always do say turn around, don't drown when we see those types of rain rates, because we've seen a lot of flash flooding over the past couple of months, something that we haven't seen in quite some time. When we look at a severe thunderstorm or a tornado, we're looking for the storm energy, the twist, the helicity. At 6 o'clock, we saw a little bit of it popping up in areas of orange. But look at through 7 and 8 o'clock. If we could go back to that 7 to 8 o'clock hour where we had the oranges and that bright pink, that showed the greatest amount of spin. And that's what we're seeing now. Like, this is the greatest chance that we'll see of any type of rotation. And that was a very good indicator of something we looked at earlier. So we're looking at our tornado warning. We had an early indicator on our ultimate Doppler. Right now we're looking at the heavy rain over parts of Montgomery County. It's going right through central Philadelphia, right over the Ben Franklin Bridge and even the Walt Whitman and into South Jersey as the storms continue to push on eastward with that tornado threat until 7 o'clock. Right now, most of the heavy rain is through central parts of Philadelphia and also into the lower part of Montgomery County. That's where we are seeing potential for those damaging winds. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Burlington, Camden, Montgomery, and Philadelphia counties until 7:30. So the tornado warning has been allowed to expire. The National Weather Service has replaced the tornado warning with a severe thunderstorm warning, but still we have to be mindful of those winds gusting over 65 miles an hour. Emergency management reports trees down in Mickleton, New Jersey, because of that line of storms that is moving through. So that is the very latest from the Weather Center. If there are any more tornado warnings that pop up, we will be sure to let you know. Right now, we do have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 7:30, and we will keep an eye on this particular storm. So I'm going to get confirmation from the control room. Do we have confirmation on the tornado warning? Okay, there you go. It has been replaced. Thank you so much for watching. We will be back with an update, full team coverage on the severe weather coming up at 10 o'clock. If anything else should pop up in the severe weather category, like a tornado warning, we'll be the first to let you know. Have a good evening.